All right, get ready to dive deep, everybody, because today we're looking at something really interesting. Using your competitors' negative restaurant reviews to make your own business better.
Interesting.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
It's amazing, how much valuable information is just out there, just hidden in plain sight.
Right.
Most people think of competitor analysis. They think of comparing menus or prices. But this approach, this is all about tapping into raw customer feedback.
Okay, so it's like free market research.
Yeah.
But with some extra spice to it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how deep can we really go with this?
Yeah.
Can we get like actionable insights just from reading these rants about cold fries and slow service and things like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
It's not just about the surface complaints.
Okay.
Imagine you notice a bunch of reviews that all mention long wait times at a competitor's place.
Yeah.
That's a signal, right? What's really going on there? Maybe it's inefficient kitchen processes, understaffing, or even something as simple as a poorly designed floor plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like detective work. We're not just reading complaints. We're trying to like understand the why behind it. I'm starting to see how powerful this could be.
Yeah.
So let's say we're ready to put on our detective hats and start digging into these reviews. Where do we even begin? Are there certain types of complaints that are more valuable than others?
Well, I think every review, it offers a glimpse into the customer experience.
Right.
But yes, some categories, they're gold mines for improvement. Let's start with service and staff.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
One instance of rude or inattentive service that can just totally scar a customer for life.
Mm-hmm.
And those negative feelings, they spread like wildfire online.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. You go out for a nice meal and the server acts like you're, totally inconveniencing them. It ruins the mood.
Absolutely. And research, actually from Harvard Business Review, shows that even a single negative review can cost a business up to 30 customers.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, so if your competitor is consistently getting slammed for bad service, that's a huge opportunity for you to shine by training your staff to be the opposite, attentive, friendly, efficient.
Makes total sense. Customers want to feel valued, not like they're an afterthought.
Right.
What's another category that stands out?
Food quality and menu issues, for sure.
Okay.
This goes beyond just a bad dish here or there. What you're looking for are patterns.
Okay.
Do reviewers consistently complain about inconsistent food quality?
Yeah.
That might point to problems with ingredient sourcing or a lack of standardized recipes in the kitchen.
So it's not about fixing one dish. It's about looking at like the bigger picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they catering to diverse diets?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are, very particular about finding restaurants with vegan or gluten-free options if competitors are missing the mark there. Maybe that's something you can, capitalize on.
You're spot on. It's about understanding the evolving needs of your target market.
Right.
Are there unmet needs you could be addressing?
Yeah.
If competitors are getting flack for limited choices or not being allergy friendly, that's valuable intel.
Got it. So far we've got service, food. What else should we be on the lookout for?
Ambiance and cleanliness.
Okay.
You might think these aren't as crucial as, the food itself.
Right.
But trust me, they can really make or break the dining experience.
Okay.
Imagine reading reviews full of complaints about uncomfortable seating, deafening noise levels, or even worse, uncleanliness. Would you want to eat there?
No way. And it's funny you mentioned the noise. I went to a restaurant once and it was so loud, I literally couldn't hear the person across from me.
Yeah.
We ended up shouting at each other the whole time.
Right. Terrible.
Needless to say, we didn't stay for dessert.
And studies have shown that even seemingly minor things, like lighting and music,
Oh, wow.
can significantly impact customer satisfaction and even how much people are willing to spend.
Really?
So if your competitor's ambiance is driving people away, creating a more welcoming and comfortable atmosphere in your own place could be a major differentiator.
That's a great point. It's about creating a holistic experience, not just focusing on the food.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered service, we've covered food, atmosphere. What's the last big category?
Price and value perception,
Okay.
which is huge, especially these days.
Right.
What you're trying to understand here is how your target market perceives the relationship between price and what they're getting in return.
So are people feeling like they're getting ripped off? Do they think the portions are too small for the price?
Exactly.
Or maybe the ingredients don't seem high quality enough to justify the cost?
And this goes beyond just looking at the overall menu price. Yeah. Are they nickel and diming customers for things like extra sauce or bread? Do they have hidden fees?
Right, right.
All these things contribute to the overall value perception.
This is all incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
I'm already starting to think about how I can apply this to my own business, but I have to admit the thought of like manually sifting through hundreds of reviews across all these different platforms sounds a little overwhelming.
I hear you, but don't worry.
Okay.
There are tools and strategies to make this process a lot easier, and that's what we're going to dive into next.
Okay, I'm all ears because right now, I feel like I have all the ingredients for a delicious strategy, but I need help putting it all together.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So you're feeling a bit like that chef with a pantry full of amazing ingredients, but no recipe, huh?
Exactly. I'm excited to cook up something amazing, but I need a little guidance on how to combine all these flavors.
Right.
Speaking of flavors, are there any tools out there that can help us sift through all these reviews without getting a mental food coma?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thankfully, we live in an age where technology can really be our sous chef in this whole kitchen of competitor analysis.
Right.
Remember those platforms we touched on earlier?
Yeah.
Review trackers, social mention, even the free dashboards you get from Google My Business and Yelp for Business.
Right.
Those are lifesavers when it comes to gathering and organizing all those reviews.
Right. So review trackers for getting like a bird's eye view of all the reviews across different platforms.
Yeah.
Social mention for keeping tabs on what people are saying on social media.
Uh-huh.
And the Google and Yelp dashboards for those, maybe on a tighter budget.
Right, exactly.
But it's not just about collecting the reviews, is it?
Right.
It's about understanding what they're really saying.
Right.
And sometimes, like, between the lines, it feels like there's a whole secret language we need to decipher.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like we've gathered all the ingredients, but now we need to taste them,
Right.
understand their nuances and figure out how to blend them perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And just like a chef might use, a special spice blend to elevate a dish, we can use what's called sentiment analysis software to unlock those deeper layers of meaning within the reviews.
Sentiment analysis software. Okay, now you're really speaking my language. This sounds high-tech and fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
How does it work?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
it really read between the lines and tell us what customers are really feeling?
You bet it can.
Okay.
Tools like Monkey Learn and Lexalytics, these are like having a superpowered food critic on your team.
Mm.
They use artificial intelligence to go beyond simply categorizing reviews as positive or negative.
Right.
They can analyze the tone, the emotion, even the specific aspects of the dining experience that people are responding to.
So instead of just seeing the food was bad, we can figure out if it was the taste or the presentation or the portion size or maybe even, the temperature that was the problem.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's like having X-ray vision into the minds of your competitors' customers.
Right. Right.
And this level of granular insight can be invaluable.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to identify patterns like customers love the atmosphere, they love the service, but they consistently find the desserts disappointing.
Yeah.
That's a golden opportunity to step up your dessert game and win over those customers.
Wow. I can already see how this could be like a game changer, but I have to admit, the more we talk about this, the more I'm starting to feel like we're building a whole like intelligence operation here.
Yeah.
We're gathering intel, we're analyzing data, we're crafting strategies. It's a lot to handle.
I hear you. It can feel overwhelming, especially when you're, already juggling a million things as a restaurant owner.
Right.
But remember, we're not trying to boil the ocean here.
Okay.
It's about starting small, focusing on the areas that matter most to your business, and gradually incorporating these strategies into your workflow.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. So let's say we've gathered all this intel, we've analyzed it with our fancy sentiment analysis tools, and we're ready to take action. What are some like concrete steps we can take to turn these insights into a competitive advantage?
That's where the real magic happens.
Okay.
And it all starts with understanding that this isn't a one-time effort. It's about creating an ongoing cycle of listening, learning, and adapting.
Right. So it's like a dance, constantly adjusting your steps based on the music.
Exactly.
But where do we even begin?
The first step is to prioritize.
Okay.
Look at the insights you've gleaned from those competitor reviews and identify the areas where your competitors are consistently falling short.
Okay.
What are the biggest pain points for their customers?
Okay, so let's say we've identified like a pattern of complaints about slow service. What's our next move?
That's where your proactive response strategy comes in.
Okay.
Slow service is a problem in your area, So you're going to make sure your restaurant is the antidote.
Oh.
Invest in staff training. Streamline your kitchen processes. Even consider using technology to optimize seating and ordering.
So we're not just reacting to problems, we're anticipating them.
Right.
And taking steps to prevent them in the first place.
Absolutely.
I love that. It's about being one step ahead. What else can we do with these insights?
Think about your marketing and messaging.
Oy.
Let's say your competitors are constantly getting dinged for small portions.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're now the home of the generous portions.
I like that.
Highlight those big plates of delicious food in your photos.
Right.
Use language in your ads that emphasizes value and abundance.
I can already picture the tagline, "Come hungry, leave happy."
Perfect.
It's like we're turning their weaknesses into our strengths.
Exactly.
But what about addressing negative reviews directly? I know a lot of business owners are kind of afraid of getting that negative feedback online.
Fear is understandable, but the worst thing you can do is ignore those negative reviews. Silence speaks volumes, and it usually doesn't say good things.
Right.
Instead, think of negative reviews as an opportunity to show your commitment to customer service.
Okay.
So
we should be responding to those negative reviews publicly and trying to make things right with the customer.
Exactly. And don't just offer like a generic apology.
Okay.
Personalize your responses, acknowledge their concerns, and show that you're genuinely taking steps to address the issue.
I've seen some businesses do this really well. Like they'll respond to a negative review by saying something like, "We're so sorry to hear about your experience. We've spoken to our team about this issue and we're taking steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. We'd love to offer you a complimentary meal on your next visit."
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's about turning a negative situation into a positive one.
Right.
And potentially winning back that customer.
Right.
And remember, even if you can't please everyone, responding to reviews thoughtfully and professionally, that shows potential customers that you care and that you're committed to providing a great experience.
That's a great point. It's about building trust and transparency.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about proactive responses, marketing adjustments, even how to handle negative feedback, but this all sounds like a lot to keep track of.
It is.
Are there any tools that can help us stay organized and measure our progress?
There are.
Okay.
And that brings us to the often overlooked but incredibly crucial aspect of tracking progress.
Okay.
We've talked about the importance of KPIs, key performance indicators,
right,
and how they can help us measure the effectiveness of our efforts.
Right, those measurable targets that tell us whether we're, moving in the right direction or not.
Exactly.
But what specific KPIs should restaurant owners be focusing on?
There are a few that are especially relevant to this strategy.
Okay.
First and foremost, track your review rating improvements. Are your average ratings on Yelp, Google, other platforms, are they trending upward?
So we're not just aiming for more reviews, we're aiming for better reviews.
Exactly.
Okay. What else should we be monitoring?
Response times are key.
Okay.
How quickly is your team responding to both positive and negative feedback?
Right.
Aim for a response time of 24 hours or less.
Okay.
This shows customers you're attentive and that their feedback is valued.
Got it. Speedy responses equal happy customers.
Absolutely.
What about the big picture? How do we know if all of this is actually translating into business growth?
That's where your customer retention rate comes in.
Okay.
Are you seeing an increase in repeat business?
Yeah.
Are your loyal customers coming back for more?
Those are definitely the metrics we want to see going up.
Right.
But tracking our own progress is only half the battle, right? We also need to keep an eye on what our competitors are doing.
Absolutely. The restaurant industry is constantly evolving. New trends emerge, customer preferences shift, and your competitors are undoubtedly adapting their strategies as well.
So this isn't like a one-time exercise. We need to make competitor analysis an ongoing part of our business strategy.
Exactly. It's about staying agile and responsive to that ever-changing market, and don't forget to celebrate your wins along the way.
Yes, it's so important to acknowledge progress and recognize the hard work of your team.
Mm-hmm.
A little celebration goes a long way in keeping everyone motivated and engaged.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, from using high-tech tools to analyze sentiment to crafting, strategic responses to negative reviews. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up this part of the deep dive? I feel like we've been on this culinary adventure today.
Yeah.
Learning secret recipes.
Yeah.
Tasting exotic ingredients. even getting a peek behind the curtain at how some of the best chefs in the business are using competitor intelligence
Right.
to elevate their game.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And you're right, it has been a journey.
Yeah.
But as with any good meal, it's the final taste that lingers.
Right, right. So what's the lasting flavor we want to leave our listeners with today? What's the most important thing to remember as they embark on their own, competitor analysis expeditions?
For me, it all comes back to empathy.
Mm.
We've talked about data, we've talked about tools, strategies.
All right.
But at the heart of it, this is about understanding people.
You mean understanding our customers, right?
Exactly. Every review, whether it's glowing praise or a scathing critique, it represents a human experience.
Right.
Someone took the time to share their thoughts and feelings about your competitor.
Yeah.
What can you learn from that?
Mm.
How can you use that information to create a better experience for your own customers?
That's such a powerful point. It's so easy to get caught up in the competitive aspect of this.
Right.
But ultimately, it's about serving people, creating a space where they feel welcome, valued, and understood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this approach is that it's a win-win.
Okay.
By listening to customer feedback, even the negative kind,
Right.
you're not just gaining a competitive edge, you're improving the overall dining landscape.
So by raising the bar for ourselves, we're
Right.
also encouraging our competitors to step up their game.
Exactly.
It's like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Precisely. And that, I think, is the most exciting aspect of all of this.
Yeah.
By embracing competitor analysis, we're not just improving our own businesses.
Right.
We're contributing to a culture of excellence within the entire industry.
And who knows, maybe we'll even inspire some delicious innovation along the way.
Now, that's something I can definitely get behind.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to let our listeners digest all this amazing information.
Yeah.
We've given them a lot to chew on today.
We have.
But before we go, I want to remind everyone that the learning doesn't stop here.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of the journey.
Right.
Keep experimenting, keep exploring, keep those taste buds curious.
And remember, the best insights often come from the most unexpected places.
They do.
So stay open to new ideas, embrace feedback, and never stop striving to create the best possible experience for your customers.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of competitor restaurant reviews.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Until next time, stay hungry for knowledge and keep diving deep.